Attorneys aren't complaining. Have you noticed that? Not a single, nobody has even said a word about tort reform. Doesn't tort reform seem like it should be part of something this huge? No, attorneys are licking their chops because it's going to open up a whole new area of litigation. You see, before, attorneys who sued healthcare insurance companies for denied medical care were only entitled to the cost of the service which was denied. But under this legislation, attorneys could sue those same insurance companies, not the government, just the insurance companies, the private guys, for pain and suffering, lost wages, wrongful death, pain and suffering. See, may I translate BS into English from time to time. I believe pain and suffering is gobs of cash. That's what this is about. The attorneys are going to make a whole lot of money, and they're going to put those industries out of business. Now, what about the fence sitters in Congress? What about those last-minute yes votes? What convinced them? What was on page 1,672 that they went, oh my gosh, I'm suddenly for this? Well, Representative Ann Gao, the lone GOP vote, he said it was promises of future support for New Orleans. Representative Dennis Cardoza was assured he'd get drought assistance for his state. Oh, Dennis, did you get that drought assistance? Good for him. Michael McCod, he's from Maine, he was won over with, what did he say it was? Personal coaxing from the president. Could I show the purple shirt people again? Yeah. Personal coaxing. I believe my grandfather would have called it bribes or scare tactics. You see, these people don't care about what their constituents want. Do you remember the polls? We don't want this. We're consistent on it. They're on the take, and guess who they're taking from? You. And the biggest winner in the healthcare sweepstakes, here it is, the unions. SEIU. Andy Stern, okay, don't ham it up now. Andy Stern, the president of SEIU, a union of 2.2 million people, leads the White House visitors list. 22 visits. He's been to the White House more than anybody else. So what is it the president and Andy Stern talk about together?
For debating health care, I talked to Andy Stern and SEIU members.
They won't talk to you at a, town hall meeting, but he'll talk to Andy Stern. Not your concerns. No. Andy Stern. He consults with Andy Stern at least 22 visits to the White House. Stern, by the way, represents 2.2 million people. Let me just give you an idea here. There are 3 million people who gather together at their set every day and watch this television show. This show, 3 million people. Could you imagine if the President of the United States said, the person I talk most to on the issues of the economy and national defense is Glenn Beck of Fox News, and I was the most frequent visitor of the White House and I had all of those visits? Can you imagine that? No one would stand for it, nor should they. The President shouldn't be talking to anyone who leads a group who leads 1 million or 2 million or 10 million. He's here to lead the entire group. It used to be called, in my old-fashioned America, justice for all. The reason they continue to push for this, when you are saying no, clearly, is because you're not the one that they're actually listening to, unless you're wearing one of those purple shirts. I said this well over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. The unions are in trouble. They desperately need government health care because they've promised far too much. Huge benefit packages, massive retirement pensions have the unions scrambling to unload the burden. And guess who the lucky recipient of that burden is? You. How could he do that? Doesn't make sense. Remember, though, his life's work is not about you.
I'll spend my entire adult life working with SEIU. I'm not a newcomer to this.
Boy, he had some passion there, didn't he? All his life, he's been doing the work of SEIU, work for those 2.2 million people. So we know the president has a lot in common, apparently, with Andy Stern and his goals. But do you? Let's refresh. What are the goals of Andy Stern and SEIU?
Workers of the world unite. It's not just a slogan anymore. It's a way we're going to have to do our work.
Workers of the world unite. That's a really dicey kind of phrase there. You might have heard that before because it's the old communist slogan, workers of the world unite. Good thing there hasn't been a recent rash of communist radicals running around the White House, right? I mean, because then I'd really be concerned. Let's, for a moment, give old Andy Stern the benefit of the doubt that he just went to the Anita Dunn School of Comedy over and over and over again. What else does Andy Stern and SEIU believe?
So the question is, how is everyone going to share in the wealth? And I think after we get through this health care situation and finally solve this problem of 223 years, we are going to see a change in our labor laws.
Okay, so how is it that we all share the wealth? Another one Karl Marx liked to say. And a 223-year mistake. I think that he was talking about a 233-year mistake, which would be America. How much influence does Andy Stern and the SEIU have over Barack Obama? I'll show you. SEIU has a new movie. It has come out into movie theaters October 30th. Oh, you didn't see it? Well, it was a limited release, only in those artsy theaters. It's called Labor Day, when winning is the only option. Subtitle. The topic, how SEIU got Obama elected. Here's the trailer.
Ordinary people can do extraordinary things so long as they are organized, so long as they are mobilized, so long as they're unionized.
I would like to introduce to you the next president of the United States, Barack Obama.
Thank you, Cleveland. Give it up for SEIU.
Okay. These are the people that claim that they got the president elected. Whose interest is the government acting on in this bill? We can't afford it. It doesn't cover everybody. Special interests are being paid off. You can call it whatever you want. I call it bribes are being had in Washington to get this passed. It certainly doesn't seem like you are going to be helped by this. Tonight I want to give you a little more than just a beat down on SEIU or the health care. I'd like to give you a plan of action, something that you can do that would be positive if you happen to agree with me. Some members of Congress are on the fence, including Senators Ben Nelson, Blanche Lincoln, Mary Landrieu. Call them. Only if you live in their districts. Call them. Ask them, what is it that you've been promised? What's in it for you? Remind them that you will be listening and watching. And if they come out for this, they really should have a really good explanation, because, I don't know, if they lived in my district, I would swear if even I was dead, I would come back as a ghost and campaign against them. You see, right now, the only thing these people want is to get reelected, and they're afraid. But they have more fear in the big purple monster than faith in we the people. You speak without fear. Tell them no means no. But look out, be warned if you do. The big purple SEIU monster doesn't like no and isn't used to taking no for an answer. Next, the SEIU beatdowns that you need to see.